Thanks for joining us again. I'm your host, Christopher Jensen. Today I'm joined by actor-director Jason Turner.
Hello.
On today's shortcast, we're going to take a look at the new Ridley Scott film upcoming here called The Martian.
Now, Ridley Scott has a fantastic pedigree of doing science fiction, and love or hate Prometheus, it was a beautiful looking film, and Arthur Max is going to production design the shit out of this movie.
Always incredible design on the majority of all of Ridley's films. Did Arthur work at all? How long has Arthur worked with him?
I'm not positive, but I know that he's been on Prometheus, American Gangster, The Counselor. He's done some other ones too, but he's worked with David Fincher. He's worked with a lot of the big names, and something like science fiction, you need really good tech and design for the audience to believe it, because
Absolutely.
There's everything from the labels to the storm scene is actually kind of reminiscent of the storm scene in Prometheus.
Yeah, and just you can tell one of the things that Ridley gets done really well, and obviously due to Arthur's assistance, is he has a strong sense of practical effects. He builds all these sets, the costumes. So while there is CGI enhancing it, a lot of the stuff you see is real, which really builds.
Mm-hmm. What I find interesting about this trailer is, in a way, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Sam Rockwell in the film Moon.
Absolutely.
Very solitary, stranded in space kind of thing, limited supplies. Now the situation in this film is more dire, and basically he's fighting for survival where there's no help, which is actually a pretty cool concept. Just the look of this is really cool. I have to mention that one of my favorite actors, there's a fantastic ensemble cast, but one of my favorite actors, actually, who didn't really seem to appear in this trailer, is Sean Bean.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like, hey, Sean Bean's in a Ridley Scott movie. Yay!
Let's hope he lives.
Yeah. Kate Mara, who's in everything right now. She's very, very talented. I like it. But yeah, anything, fantasy and science fiction and everything is really all the rage right now. And I think this film, I'm going to be biased to like it anyways, because Ridley Scott's my favorite director. Blade Runner is my favorite film, and he's in his 70s and he's still just making fantastic looking films.
And even though we know that a lot of these trailers are cut by independent agencies, not necessarily by the directors themselves, Ridley gives us a really good, content, basically, that the sense of tension and urgency and stuff, and Damon's performance as well as his ensemble really sell it. Oh, and I love this guy. If you've seen Jeff Bridges from
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, I'm sorry, from his HBO show, the newscast one. Newsroom.
Oh yeah, Newsroom.
He sells it here in this performance.
Yeah. What I take away from this trailer is, it shows just enough to get me interested. It's almost like Castaway a little bit, but the mistake that Castaway made was that they showed that Tom Hanks got back. You were gone for 4 years. And I'm just and they showed the last shot of the movie in the trailer. This
one, you clearly aren't sure. You sense that there's this, sense obviously with the idea of the crew that appears anyway, possibly to already be back on Earth.
Yeah.
That has to basically somehow concoct a plan to get a ship that, if we're understanding the trailer right, it may take 4 years for them to effectively, commit treason and take this equipment to go back to save this astronaut that NASA has declared dead to the world. So, there's some great, story concepts in it.
And it is based on a book which I have not read.
Nor have I.
But it looks like, Ridley's movies are very, very, he approaches it. He has a background in commercials, and everything that he did up until he did The Duelists in the 70s was he did a lot of commercials. And even after he directed films, he continued to do commercials. The famous 1984 Apple commercial.
Yeah. Woman throwing the sledgehammer through the screen, kind of changing up mediocrity.
He's good at visuals, and if he gets really good visuals, really good actors, and a good script, it's a home run. I'm looking forward to this film. I think it looks good. I think the one thing that I would just be careful of is, this is the only trailer I want to see. You know what I mean? Exactly. I don't want to see any extended trailers because they might show too much. Sometimes that's beyond the director's control, but because Ridley comes from a commercial world, he probably has a say in the marketing.
Yeah, like you say, this one is great because it gets you on the edge of your seat, gets you interested in what's going to happen and the consequences, and that's not enough. It wants to get you in the theater. That's what it should do.
Yeah, I think trailers should only be about 2.5 minutes max. If a trailer's like 3 minutes long, then I usually avoid watching them because I'm like, yeah, that's going to show me stuff I don't want to see. Mm-hmm. And it's really a gamble because you don't want to have things spoiled for you. But as far as science fiction goes, I think there's a hunger back for that. And this film looks really, really cool. I think Matt Damon is a terrific actor, one of my favorite actors. Everybody else in the cast is, astounding. So I mean, it's gonna be a well-rounded, well-acted film, and the fact that we don't know if he makes it back or not, that's great. I haven't read the book, so that's fine. But if you think about it this way, the isolation that a lot of science fiction films strive to get, they usually do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah, well, like
it's almost
Moon,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, Moon especially. Yeah, it's almost like you take a B level concept and give it the A level treatment. Which is exactly what they did with Alien.
Right.
The first Alien film was like truckers in space, but they actually made that film look amazing. So in this concept, if it was a lower budget and lesser known director, they'd probably just shoot it in the desert with some red filters and have some very simple cardboard sets, and boom, you got your film. But give it to somebody like Ridley, who has enough clout and standing in the industry that he could get these type of people attached. That's going to make it that much better, and it makes it easier for people to believe. I will get to see Interstellar sooner or later. I just never got a chance to see it, but
yeah.
From what I've seen, and most of my friends are like, you need to see it. I do want to, but this might be like a good, like if you get them both on Blu-ray, it might be a good, let's have a Stranded in Space or Space kind of movie night, and you watch these two back to back or something.
Absolutely, and I'm doubly excited for this one, just because in the months, previous to a lot of the release of images and stuff, it was talked about that this was going to be the film that was preceding Ridley finally getting back to one of my favorite films, Blade Runner. Now, like it or not, whether or not you're apprehensive about what potentially the sequel could be, from everything we're told, this could be the final film that he finishes before he moves on and gets into production on Blade Runner 2, which I've been waiting on for years, And I feel like that if he's assembling the crew and stuff, that they recently announced a cinematographer, didn't they, for Blade Runner 2?
Yeah, they actually got the guy from No Country for Old Men. Okay. Roger Deakins. Deakins is a master visualist. I think it's interesting. I almost think they should have got Jeff Cronenweth, who's Jordan Cronenweth's son.
Right.
But he might be too busy. He might be doing another Fincher film, which is fine. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to a sequel to Blade Runner. Although it's like it's 30 years later. The reason why they're doing that is because people that were kids in the 80s now are old enough to go pay for movies. It's like, oh, I wish they'd do a sequel to Blade Runner. Oh, they did,
Yeah.
So, but if anybody's going to do it, or at least produce it, it should definitely be Ridley. Apparently, Ryan Gosling is attached as well.
Really?
Supposedly.
To Blade Runner, right,
to the Blade Runner too, yeah. So, but yeah, I think this one looks really cool.
If you cut a trailer correctly and hit those beats right and the right kind of music, you're going to, get those people anticipated, ready to go. Sure, there are examples in the past where trailers have completely fooled you, and sold you a bill of goods that was not even close to what the film was, where they've edited footage all around different sequences and different timing. But I think for the most part, there's a balance. There's a place where you can get that trailer and not give away too much.
Yeah, I think also what's interesting about this trailer is that towards the end of it, they actually used a track that was in the Mad Max Fury Road teaser, the very first teaser for Fury Road, which had said from Mastermind George Miller and all that. It's like a orchestral kind of choir thing underneath the visuals. And if anybody has epic visuals, it's definitely going to be Ridley. So
for sure.
I think it's cool when they, take music from other trailers and, incorporate it in, but it works for this. I hate it when, they did I remember for years they had the 90s Judge Dredd, Jerry Goldsmith, action music cue underneath every action trailer from the 90s. And then, Bishop's Countdown was another one that they used way too much. But, and Lux Eterna from Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, right, yeah.
That they dropped in all the Lord of the Rings trailers, So, I mean, it's like marketing trailers is a very, 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 specialized skill, and I think they can do a good job. and make films work better with less.
Okay, thanks for joining me, Jason. So we're definitely looking forward to this film. Looks like it's going to be coming out this year on October 2nd. So definitely excited to see the trailer. Where can they find you online, Jason?
You can find me at Dark Train Films and Jason Turner Actor on YouTube. And both of those are my YouTube channels. And I try and put out new content as much as I can. Probably not as often as I should, but I'm trying.
All right, again, I'm Christopher Jensen, your host, and you can leave a comment down below about this video or about the trailer that we watched or anything else. If you have something you'd like us to review, go ahead and let us know down there as well, or contact us at reactorcore@gmail.com. Thanks.